And welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. We're going to be talking about Fallout Shelter, which just came out for the PS4. But before that, I kind of wanted to briefly mention that I might, maybe, be reaching 1,000 subscribers. What's happened is I've been sitting at 999 most of today, and then I got this notification from a fella who said, "Hey man, I'm your 1,000th subscriber." I thought, great, woohoo, it is time to do my celebratory video, which I have in mind, but unfortunately it doesn't look like YouTube is updated with that new number just yet, or I don't know, sometimes it takes a little bit for YouTube to correctly show what the accurate numbers are. For example, just recently, Brad Allison, guy in Kalamazoo, he showed up as a new subscriber of mine, and I thought, okay, I know Brad's been a subscriber for at least a year or two, so I don't know what's going on. You know, YouTube, it comes and goes, and it increases and decreases, so I'm not going to break out the champagne right now, but I do plan fairly soon to talk about, I may or may not have 1,000 subscribers finally. So keep your eyes open on the horizon for that video. Meanwhile, let's talk about Fallout Shelter like I was going to. I've actually played this to death on the mobile version, and last week at E3, Todd Howard announced it's coming to PS4. In fact, you can download it tonight. And I love this game on the mobile platform. So when I thought, hey, it's on PS4, and I'd kind of been wanting to go back into Fallout Shelter, yeah, great, I'll do it. It's free. I mean, they make their money by selling you little lunch boxes and various things you can buy that way, in-app purchases. But the game, to just download and play just as it is free. So I thought, yes, and it has trophies. Perfect. I've been wanting to go back in. Now I'm going to play it all over from scratch with the big screen, which actually is kind of helpful. There's a thing that I'm going to be doing later in this gameplay that really points out what the value is of having the big TV to show off the whole vault. Now, a lot of people have talked about this game, so I'm not going to go into too many details. I mean, you've got your little dwellers, and you can, in the mobile version, you can tap on them, and then you can collect your resources, send them away on missions, which I'll show you in a bit. I'll just zoom in here so you can see. It's really nice on PS4. You can very clearly see all of these little characters. I've got a little Mr. Handy guy going around to collect resources for me. You can see people's names. It's good. It's very, very good on PS4. Highly recommend it. But while I'm showing you this gameplay, I thought I'd point out my experiences previously. I was actually going to do a whole video about Fallout Shelter a couple of years ago, because I ran into something that was a bit frustrating for me. And so I had always planned, well, let's talk about it on mobile at one point, so the fact that it's now out for PS4 just brings the whole thing to a head. What was my frustration? When this game came out 2 years ago, I want to say, I was playing it on my iPod Touch, and it was running great, but would crash pretty regularly. Like, it would load, but I think when the vault got to a certain size, probably about as big as mine is now here on PS4, my iPod Touch, which at the time was the latest and greatest hardware for iPod Touches, it just kept crashing. And I thought, well, this is really weird. Even after resetting and uninstalling and reinstalling and all the usual bits of troubleshooting, my iPod Touch just kept crashing. And I thought, what the heck? So I actually emailed the developers. I got on their website, or it might have been through the iTunes. Is there a way to contact developers through iTunes? I can't remember. I did send them an email, and they did reply, by the way. I was very impressed. But I said, hey, I've got the latest iPod Touch. What's going on with this not running? You know, it's a new app, and it should run. And I got a reply, and I was a bit annoyed because I think I'd really have to look this up on a calendar. I'm not going to bother because it's not that important. But I think my iPod Touch had only just like a month before been superseded by the next iPod Touch, the 6th, whatever the last generation is. They actually released it at Apple's conference, which is not far off E3, and it was at E3 a couple of years ago that this mobile game was originally announced, along with, you know, the Pip-Boy collector's edition of Fallout 4. So the people who made this game got back to me and said, yeah, we are very glad that you enjoy our product, etc. We support the latest versions of the hardware. And as I was about to speak up and say, hey, I have the latest version of the hardware, and then I was aware of the fact, oh no, I have the previous generation of iPod Touch. And I mean, iPhone, sure, there have been a million iPhones and they all run this great, but I thought, well, my iPod Touch is only one generation removed. Are you seriously going to tell me it's too old to play this? And I was reminded that there was actually, ooh, look at the sunset. I was reminded that the Activision anthology that came out for Game Boy Advance was actually released many years prior and wouldn't run on my older iPod Touch. I think it was the 3rd generation that I had. And I was really annoyed. I thought, are you kidding me? Activision 2600 games can't play on an iPod Touch? What? We're talking decades worth of difference? Let's not go down into that discussion. Oh, case in point. Did you hear that? Dum dum dum. Yeah, that means the mysterious stranger is in my... There he is, right there. Okay, I just clicked on him. Got some coins, 162 of them. Anybody who's played Fallout 3 or 4 knows the mysterious stranger. He shows up and helps you once in a while. That's actually what's so great about playing this on the PS4 with a big screen TV. You can make out little minute details like him. Yeah, big fan of that. Not a fan of the interface. Don't like how you always have a room selected. You have to move around with the left stick, and you have to use the right stick to choose things. It's better on the original mobile version where you're just tapping these with your finger. And of course, if you've played the mobile version, you know your dwellers can actually go and explore other vaults or other buildings. They can bring back treasures, they can fight mole rats in this case. I've just sped it along here because, well, if you've played the game, you know what to expect. It's really, really good. It's really, really fun. This is why I was really hoping to be able to play this on the iPod Touch. Thankfully, my newer phone is totally capable of it, and now with PS4, I'm super happy. Side note, something that also is PS4 related and to do with Fallout Shelter is, wouldn't it be great if this was also patched to work in VR? I mean, I can't imagine that would be all that hard to do. Sure, they're little 2D cutout figurines, but the rooms that they go through, those are 3D rendered. And I know there's a new game that just came out, Rooms, the Unsolvable Puzzle, where you're basically looking at a building and you've got these 3D rendered, kind of like a doll's house sort of a thing. I could totally see this being patched so that you could do the same thing. You're just sitting in your chair, you can move your head around and sort of lean in and look inside all these little rooms that your dwellers are fighting all these creatures in. And yeah, like, how hard would that be? Totally, they should patch this to work in VR. And this is later on when my dwellers are heading back. So, yeah, I think I'll just call it there, but Fallout Shelter, get it. It's awesome. It's really, really good on the big screen, except for that interface with the thumbsticks, but I'm really surprised they even got it running at all. So, and please, Sony, Bethesda, whoever, can you please patch this so that it'll work with VR headset? Because this would be, to me, really easy to do and a lot of fun. Uh-oh, it's an attack of feral ghouls. But luckily my two guardsmen there who are just behind the vault door, they're pretty well armed, so I think I've got little to worry about. Fingers crossed. And that's probably a good time to wrap this video up. So again, looks like I'm reaching 1,000 subscribers pretty soon. Fingers crossed. I'll have another video when I feel confident to say that's true. And until next time, ooh, that guy got away. Not for long. Haha. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.